Well, coming from the state perspective, the House of Representatives rolled out our version of the state budget today. The House version spends $21,500,000,000. The hard thing about being involved in a state budget in 2014 is Medicaid, as I was talking to Michelle about a while ago. The state of North Carolina, the Republicans did not take the federal exchange through Obamacare, and that was a good thing from our perspective because Medicaid would have expanded even more. But it's such a hard thing to estimate from year to year. We're looking at now that from our estimates from last year to this year, we're running another $60 million short of what we thought we would have to pay out in Medicaid, alone $60 million short. So Medicaid, from a state budget standpoint, is always the 900-pound gorilla in the room, and it's something that has got to be funded. Again, if we had taken the federal exchange model, you would have been eligible for Medicaid at 130% above the poverty level. And to tell you the truth, you know, there's only so much money out there to go around. One thing that we were dealing with today, got some phone calls from some folks. One thing the Republicans are trying to do is get rid of some of the funding for some of the nonprofits, which are just basically giving some of these groups a large amount of taxpayer dollars without any kind of legislative oversight or anything like that. So, as Ted was saying, it is certainly a tangled web. Teacher pay, the House version is to give the teachers a 5% raise instead of the 11% raise like the Senate rolled out, but not mess with the tenure at this point, which eventually that will go away. But the reason the House did not want to take up the tenure thing this session is because, quite frankly, that's going to be in court. And the courts are going to have to decide that. So from our standpoint, you know, why mess with it? It puts our chairman of the school board in a bad position and our superintendent and county commissioners when you don't know, with the Senate side of the budget, you know, you don't know if the tenure is going to be there or not. There's a lot of unanswered questions. So that is the position of the House. We've got a lot of things in common that we'll be able to come together with the Senate, but quite frankly, it's liable to get hot this summer. And it may not be the end of June. Hopefully it will be. But the House and the Senate has got a lot of, they're a long way apart right now. I anticipate we'll be able to come together, but it's going to be quite interesting on Jones Street for the next 2 or 3 weeks, to say the least. But I think cooler heads will prevail, as they always do. I think Ted was exactly right about the lottery money. Lottery was passed in the dead of the night. The Lieutenant Governor, Bear Perdue, cast a deciding vote on it, and just like J.H. Langdon said, that money will be going into the general fund very quickly. And it has to a certain degree. And the House has that perspective of what the county commissioners are saying. But one thing that's not in our advantage, Ted was talking about some counties, there are only 10 counties in the state of North Carolina really where that affects. So the school board really is 90 to 10, and we're on the 10 we're on the 10. There are 10 counties that are really growing at the pace that Johnston and Wake and Mecklenburg. I think someone told me recently that Johnston County is the #1 growing county now as far as schools go. Is that right, Mr. Chairman? That's saying a whole lot, that our county is the #1 increase by percentage in the state of North Carolina. So we are at a very tenuous spot right now, but the sky's not falling. One thing that is very encouraging for the state of North Carolina since the Republicans have taken over Governor McCroy is that when we took over the legislature 4 years ago, well 5 years now, the unemployment was over 11 and about 11.5%. Now it's down to around, just a little bit above 6%. So what that is actually saying is that our conservative policies are working, is putting people back to work, and that's the way you grow the pie, is to put people back to work and get everybody paying taxes. And so that's something very proud. We can all be very proud of this. In the end, it's about jobs, because when you got jobs, you got more people paying taxes, and then the pie grows, and then we can fund some of this other stuff, but we can't fund it properly and conservatively until, you can't. It's like my granddaddy used to tell me, I'm on a farm boy, but he always said you can't get blood out of a turnip. And that's about where we are right now in the state budget. So it'll be interesting. Watch the news. If you have any questions, feel free to call Representative Langdon's office or Representative Daughtry. But Brent and Senator Raven, I think they're still up there in Raleigh right now. We just got out of an education meeting. So they're working hard. Your representatives are working hard. And we'll probably be working on into the night, past midnight for the rest of the week. So, but feel free to call your representatives. They represent you. And I think in the end, we'll get where we need to be. People have got to be patient. And the main thing again is we've got to get people back to work. And that's what the Republicans have done since they've gone to Raleigh, is get people back to work. When you get people back to work, that solves a lot of problems. So that's all I've got to say.
Thanks. Well, speaking of the